Hello, my abnormal family. Got another one for you, a little bit different look at something more on the side of a reptilian or something that these people have witnessed. This is a little freaky, but let's get right into it. She says, my relationship with my partner of 17 years was falling apart. Our three young kids were suffering. My eldest child is an empath and felt my intense fear. He began to act out how I was feeling. He was frightened to look out the windows at night, feeling that something was lurking in the darkness, waiting to take him away. Hearing noises, feeling someone was watching him, frightened to close his eyes, but equally scared to keep them open. The more I tried to push the image of the reptilian from my head, the more she intruded. I began having flashbacks, which led to anxiety attacks, intense shaking. My world was dark. One night in my early 20s, in the early 2000s, my partner and I were driving along a dark road in Ireland. We always played deep, intricate house music to zone out while we drove. We never had conversations on our journeys. It was almost like meditation. The headlights of our van lit the immediate darkness just a few meters ahead. On the hard shoulder, an old woman came into view, stooped so badly she was looking only at the road as she shuffled along in the darkness. My partner and I acknowledged her simultaneously. What the hell is she doing out here? Almost immediately, after our acknowledgement of the old lady, time slowed right down, from about 120 kilometers per hour to slow walking speed. It was almost like we had hit an invisible wall, but without the impact. Then time jumped forward in increments, like watching a scratched or a slightly scratched DVD. The stooped old woman was now only approaching my wing mirror. All sense of time had diminished. I couldn't avert my eyes. Nothing else existed. Not the road ahead, time, or transit van, not my partner, not my physical body. Only the outline of the window and wing mirror, the darkness, and her. Looking down on her stooped form, still just below my wing mirror, her head detached from her body, but on a long neck. Her head still facing the ground, snaked up to my window, bringing a face to face. She had green eyes that glowed in the darkness, with vertically elongated black pupils set into the face covered in scales, in murky shades of green. The space where a nose should be was flat. As her mouth opened wider and wider, I seen teeth that were tightly packed, a sharp and protruded more and more, the wider she opened her mouth. Then time resumed, and we continued on our journey. I want to mention something about this experience for those few seconds, if I can even put time measurement on it. I felt the reptilian's feelings. She was really angry that I saw her. She didn't want to be seen. How she felt has been part of my healing journey. I have had many realizations stem from this. Another story, maybe. My partner and I didn't speak of this experience for many years. I'm not even sure if we remembered it. When I fell pregnant with my first child in 2012, the memory was suddenly there again. I asked my partner if he remembered anything about it. He snapped at me. Never talked to me about it again. I don't want to know. With this triggered reaction, I knew I hadn't imagined it. Notably around this time during an energy healing session with a friend, I discovered that I had an entity attached to me. A shadow entity who I have met 3 times since, again, another story. My partner had experienced something indescribable, but to a much lesser degree than me. When I spoke to the encounter, I held back, never letting myself fully relive the experience. That was until about 18 months ago, following the birth of my 3rd child. I immigrated to Australia many years ago, spending the past 6 years in Cairns, far north Queensland, having recently moved to a small sugarcane farming town just outside of Cairns. Hope I'm saying that right and didn't butcher that. My brother, who I am incredibly close to, immigrated soon after me to live in Brisbane. A work one day, listening to a radio segment, an alien encounters a guy called with a story. His story, incredibly similar to mine, took place in a cane farm just outside of Cairns. An old woman in the distance stooped over. She was still standing alone in the darkness of a cane field. He looked away for a second, and when he looked back at her, her body remained where it had been, but her reptilian head was face to face with this guy. My brother called me to tell me what he had heard. This phone call was the start of my healing journey, although I didn't see it. I thought the reptilian had followed me from Ireland. Was she looking for me? Was she going to hurt my kids? With a newborn and two other young kids, a very unstable relationship, and miles away from loved ones, my dark night of the soul had begun. She continued to see shadow figures in her home, and the figure tried to make friends with her. And as time went on, she thought it was friendly, but eventually found out that it was not friendly, and ended up having to seek a preacher, I believe, to get rid of it. There was some things done. It goes to show that these things can follow you home. They can attach to you. And that's why I tell people whenever I go out cryptid hunting, I'm not looking for spirits or demons, but it doesn't mean they're not there and they're attached to these creatures. And when you start running all of your equipment, they may try to show themselves to be seen or whatever. And I don't deal with that. I just pray and tell it to leave me alone, Lord Jesus Christ. And then I just deal with the cryptid. It works every time. They don't have a choice. But it also shows that if you don't pray up when you go and when you do these things, it can be very dangerous, and you can bring things home with you that you may not want to. So when you go out, just make sure that you're praying. You're not in a down, a down mood, or you're not depressed or anything, and try to pray up, and just be careful before you go out, and know what you're dealing with, and try to keep your faith. Thanks for watching, guys. I kind of wanted to go this way to see what y'all think about the reptilians. Give me some feedback. Let me know if you like these, and if you do, we'll search deeper into it. There's a lot. It goes all the way up. Well, it goes way up. I think y'all know where I'm talking about. But thanks for watching, guys. Keep your head on a swivel, and until next time. Oh, last thing. We got two moderators that stepped up to help the page. I want you to give Dawn and Barb a big welcome on the page, on the Facebook page. They stepped up to help me. They knew I needed the help. They knew some things were going on, and they just stepped up. It's a blessing to have people like that on the channel. All you guys are awesome. The emails that y'all have sent me, oh my God, just the messages and being there for me. I've talked to some of y'all have called, and it's been really nice and refreshing to know that y'all are there. It's really opened my eyes and showed me that we are a family, even if it is abnormal, but it's still our family. So I'll talk to y'all on the next one, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Smack a like on it. If you get extra time, play the playlist, let it play. It'll run the algorithm up. And until the next time, don't be something's dinner.